So now that we've cast on 10 stitches, we're going to learn how to knit. So before this needle was in our right hand, we're going to move it to our left hand and we're going to work left to right. So to start this process, you want to have some kind of hold of your working yarn. And there are many different ways to do this. Some people hold it with their right hand and hold their tension that way. Some people hold it with their left hand, called continental knitting. And that's how I like to knit. But I'm also a crocheter, and I find that this is a little bit easier and more natural for me. So I'm going to be holding it with my left hand, and then it'll free up my right hand to kind of do what it needs to do. But try both and watch videos for both and see which one feels best for you. So to knit, so basically what I'm saying here is pretty confusing. I'm describing the front and the back of the stitch. Just ignore what my hands are doing and listen to my voice. The front of the stitch is the part of the stitch that is closest to the end of the needle, and the back of the stitch is this part of the stitch that is closest to your left hand. To take your right needle and you're going to go underneath the back of the stitch so it makes an X, like so. Then you're going to take your yarn and you're going to go counterclockwise, and you're going to start to pull your right needle. See how it's important to have control over how tight that this working yarn is, because it wants to slip off. But I always say we wrap counterclockwise, we have our needles kiss, and they kiss all the way down, and you grab that yarn like that. And then we're going to take the whole thing and we're going to move it off of the left hook onto the right, and you've just knit. So let's watch that again. So we go through the back of the stitch in the bottom. We make an X where the right needle, sorry, I keep wanting to say hook, the right needle is below the left needle. We go counterclockwise on our bottom needle. We make them kiss, make the two needles kiss, and we go slowly slide the right needle down the left needle until we get just what we want from the right needle, from the left needle, sorry. And then we slide the whole thing off. So I'm going to let you practice this a couple more times. I'm going to do this a little bit more quickly, but feel free to stop, pause, or slow down this part of the video if you need any extra time. No shame in that. So behind, counterclockwise, kiss, down, off. Behind, counterclockwise, kiss, down, off. And you can see that I'm slowly moving these down. And having these bamboo needles is really great because they're not slipping and sliding. My stitches aren't slipping and sliding all over the place. They're very controlled. So just another thing to consider as you buy your knitting needles. I think these are going to slow you down once you get really fast and really good and you're an expert, but to start out, I think these are really fantastic. Now, if Amazon's not available in your country, You can order just one set of wooden hooks. I recommend a 16-inch cable if you're going to go circular hooks, because 16 inches is right around the size, right around the perfect size for making a hat and for an adult. And I think that is very versatile. And then just get one set of hooks. You don't need a bunch of hooks if you don't have Amazon available or something similar. The last one, you're going to do the exact same thing. See, I kind of pulled that slip knot a little tighter just because that had loosened up through time. So now I should have 10 stitches, so make sure you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I almost thought I lost a stitch, and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do a tutorial on this? And drop stitches. So that was all on your right hand. Now your right hand becomes your left hand, and we're going to make sure that the yarn is in the back of the needles. Or working yarn is in the back of the needles, and we're going to hold our yarn. I'm going to try to hold it with my right hand and show you what a right-handed, we call them throwers, look like. So this might be a little bit more natural to you. So see how I still go counterclockwise with the yarn, but I'm kind of throwing it over that back needle. And you're going to have to kind of slip your stitches up as you work. It's kind of a whole process of slipping your stitches up and then down and then all around, and just, that's just knitting. So you can see I'm holding it a different way, where I'm holding it between my forefinger and thumb, and I'm throwing it that way instead. All about preference. Whatever is fastest, easiest, most comfortable for you is the best. But there are ways to get faster at both continental knitting and I think it's called European style knitting, but I might be mistaken on that, so please don't quote me as I make a video teaching you how to knit. So finish that second row all with knits, and now we're going to learn how to purl. So your project should look something like this. You might see more defined or less defined stitches, but you should still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. So we haven't done anything to lose or add a stitch yet. So that's how you knit.